I'm here today with Monica Teta, who I'm going to be talking to her about her project called Sew Your View. And if you haven't seen that, this is a monthly challenge where everybody sews one particular pattern, but they each choose what they're going to do with that view. So, Monica, can you tell us a little bit about how you decided to start this and how long ago it was?
Yeah, definitely. Hi, Marquita. How are you? Well, I started a Sew Your View early 2017. I think it was February 2017. Myself and another sewist on Instagram, I was just talking about us doing some sew-alongs, and I came up with the name Sew Your View. And basically, as you look at patterns, you'll notice that sometimes the patterns will have multiple views on them. And with that, you would want people to sew their own view. So that's kind of how the name started. And we just wanted to have accountability for people sewing. And when I say we, I see Sew Your View as its own thing. So it's a person, even though it's not a person. But yeah, we would just encourage people to sew. I would select all of the patterns and take a look at the patterns and see that they were more fashionable, something that I knew that I wanted to wear, and then do a flyer and post that out there and then use the hashtag Sew Your View, and we would feature people on our page.
So your personal Instagram hashtag is That's So Monica, but then you created Sew Your View as a separate entity.
Yes, I did. So with That's So Monica, my personal brand, sometimes I don't feel like posting. I'm not as consistent on there as I should be. And I realized that after a year going on with Sew Your View, and I wanted to continue because it was a full year. The goal was to just do it at least from February to the end of the year. And then in December, I noticed that a lot of people were like, hey, what's the Sew Your View going to be in January? And I'm like, oh, you want this to continue? And they're like, yeah, we definitely do, because this kept us accountable and we truly enjoyed it. So in 2018, I decided to separate the page. So I wasn't featuring people on my personal page in case I just didn't want to post on it, or in case That's So Monica no longer wanted to do that. So Monica, that Sew Your View could stand on its own. And that's when that came about. And I remember it exactly, because it was right after the new year. I started posting all of the pictures that everyone has sent, everyone had hashtagged, just to kind of highlight and show the growth of where we've come and what we've been doing.
Yeah, I think it's great in that I may not always follow along that month, but a lot of times seeing all those makes and all those views and people's uh, thoughts about that pattern make me want to sew it, even if it's a couple of months late.
Yes.
So I'm sure that you see that as well from more people than just me, as far as being not on that month.
Yeah, no, definitely. And one of the things for us is we're always going to repost. So we try our best to, like, and again, even myself, Sew Your View holds me accountable, because I wouldn't be sewing if it wasn't that not hosting, but I'm in charge of this particular platform. So I have to at least make what it is that we're posting. I've only not done 1 month. It was only 1 month that I didn't do because I couldn't stand PDF patterns. But now with PDF plotting, I am like bringing them on. But it's good if somebody was, oh, I can't make it that month, or, work schedule. Not everyone is sitting at their machines 24/7. Or also sometimes it takes people a little longer to sew. Like for me, it takes me forever just to sew one thing. I don't know, because I just start talking, I start dancing, I get up, walk around. And then by the time I'm like, everyone's like, are you done? Are you at the next step? I'm like, oh, I didn't realize, we're there. So giving everyone a month, but understanding that life happens. So if they wanted to post it a week later or two, we would still go ahead and post it. But we try to encourage a soft deadline.
Certainly. So you're in charge of picking all the patterns, but lately you've had some guest hosts running commentary or having creative suggestions with that month's pattern. How did that come about?
Oh, so that came about. It was fun to do, I will say, in picking the host as well as picking the patterns. So I pick all the patterns because I look at it based on style that I know that I would wear. Also, things that I think that everyone else would be able to wear and that are fashionable, that are in style, but then also views that have multiple different views. Sometimes we've done items, for instance, this most current So Your View, where it's just one pattern. It doesn't have any options to or various views. But for the most part, I try my best to pick patterns that everyone can show their own view and their own style and spin to it. But I remember doing a takeover for one of the pattern companies a few years back, and I truly enjoyed that week. So around once I decided to do the page, and then I also have my personal page, and then I had the Project So page, and then with work and other things, I was like, I can't manage a page on its own with all of the stuff I have going on. So I also can't be involved with wanting to do a full on sew along or even just being able to check in. So I came up with saying, hey, would someone like to host? And it was just every few months, and then it would come back to me, but I wouldn't really do the hosting. I would just make sure to do the content engagement. And with the host, I started picking people and just people I would come in contact with or whoever. Like I would just get a feeling and I would just be scrolling and I'll just hit them up and say, hey, would you be interested? And they're like, oh my God, yay. So it's been that way. And I try to keep it as diverse. We've had men, we've had a full figure, we've had different people. And I always look at their styles as well to try to see how I can kind of incorporate their style into the pattern that is being selected. And it kind of helped me get more organized with picking the host. So looking at foreshadowing and picking the patterns a few months ahead so that they could get prepared. And those who had YouTube channels or those who were interested in starting a page, that helped them. And then some of the people were like, oh my God, I've always wanted to host or even do a YouTube channel or even an IGTV or stories or something, but they were too either scared or they just weren't there, but this was the push that they needed to do. So things like that, I would look for in the host. So that's how the hosting came about. It was more to help me.
But it also sounds like helping launching some other careers of other makers as well.
Yes, definitely. And also for their personal brands too, because I'm not looking at, you have to have a certain amount of followers. It's not about that. It's about the connection that myself and the person have, or even just, and this may sound so crazy, but, and I'm not to bring religion in it. Like the Lord really, truly, when I'm sliding through, it's like, I get this feeling. It's like, you need to pick this person. You need to do this. So letting that intuition guide me in selecting people, especially because I'm handing over my password. Somebody can go in and shut the whole page down. So being able to trust, be trusting and pick up on those, that connection is good. Mm-hmm.
So it's August and you selected the pattern that is a free pattern from Mood, which they have a whole selection of free patterns, if anybody doesn't know that those are out there and available. And this is the Tacoma blouse, correct?
Yes.
So what drew you to this blouse?
Ooh, okay. So that picture of the blouse was gorgeous on the mannequin. So as soon as I scrolled, because I scroll a lot on the Mood patterns, and I've always wanted to do them. But again, I stayed away from PDF patterns because now that we have PDF plotting, oh my gosh, it's a game saver. Unfortunately, Mood has yet to turn their patterns to PDF plotting, but they're working on it. But this one didn't have that many pages. And I saw that blouse and that linen. I said, oh my God, that is so my style. It's a great transition piece from the summer into the fall, even though we're in Texas. And then also, I'm sorry, just to backtrack. Another thing in selecting the patterns, I look at the seasons and knowing that we have people that are doing our patterns from all over the country and the world. And sometimes they're not able to get the big 4 patterns. So allowing PDF patterns and implementing that into the mold allows other people to participate. So when I chose it, I was just thinking something that is easy for me to be able to make, to do it so long that doesn't require too many steps, and something that I can effortlessly do and make a few more and keep in my wardrobe.
Okay, so I have started my make, and I noticed that it's a very full blouse. It's a wrap blouse. So how do you see the styling? Because your photo shoots are beautiful. So do you see this with a pair of skinny jeans? Do you see this with, since bell bottoms have come back in, volume on the lower half? I think you're a master at color and proportion. So how do you see this blouse in your mind?
To be honest with you, in my mind, I see it so many different ways. So I have 3 fabrics right now that I'm trying to select. And I think I'm actually going to make all 3. I can see with jeans first, a pair of nice boyfriend cut jeans, even a pair of skinny jeans. And it depends on your proportion, but the way that peplum comes out, it's able to hide. And if you don't have hips, it will still accentuate out to give you the illusion that you have them. And then if you have a little tummy area like I do, that's perfect, for it. I can see jeans. I can see wide leg pants. I can see bell bottoms. Marquita, honestly, there's so many variations, even skirts, a pencil skirt, I'm going to say this word, and you know how our relationship is with tulle, a tulle skirt, a big tulle skirt.
That's a story for another day, right?
That is. But can't you see it like a poof skirt, and then even if the fabric was maybe a chiton, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, or a nice silk blend, I think that would to flow well with that, to give the contrast, or if you wanted to dress it up. So there's so many variations because of the belt and how you're able to cinch it to create that waist. I think that it allows for a different type of bottoms for you to wear, from casual to dressy. So I say wide leg pants, of course, that's my staple. I love a wide leg pant, but a skinny pant tapered would work as well. Or jeans. Yeah.
But I do agree with you, because I know I have friends in Australia, and so, it's winter there. So picking those patterns that are kind of seasonless, that depending on what fabric you choose, and layering possibilities is a great idea to make it more inclusive across the world. And I commend you for choosing different, being inclusive, like I said, having the men, having different body types, because sometimes I've seen, especially that jumper pattern, how fabulous it looked on everybody. So
oh my God, that pattern. And I'm ready to make another one. It was perfect. And our host, which was So Stacy, she's a full figured woman. And she made so many of the pieces, but she was able to show that you could wear a jumper and still look fabulous in it. And it was a nice double breast. Am I saying? Yeah, it was double breast.
Kind of that wrap top.
Yeah, wrap top. And it was just and it flowed, and then picking the right fabric, to go with it. So I think that's always important. That is the one thing I will say that I enjoy, is when I get to see everyone's makes and kind of like what they came up with and how it's their own personality in it. And then also how sometimes you're like, oh my God, I didn't think about that. And then you run and go get the fabric to make something similar. I think that's wonderful.
So because the hashtag Sew Your View has become popular and people are using it for things other than the monthly make, what is the hashtag that people should use to make sure that you see their submissions and get included in their reposting of your Sew Your View?
Yeah. Oh gosh, our hashtag is popular now. And you're thinking, oh, everyone would know what Sew Your View is, and not everyone does, And as you get new people that are sewing, or just people who notice other hashtags being used, they automatically tend to use those hashtags. That's how social media works. So I came up with something that I thought no one would think to use, that it would relate to sewing. So I put SYV, submission. So first, it's the initials of Sew Your View. So SYV submission, or submissions, because some people add the S to the end. So I'll look at those. I still look at the So Your Views and I do recent. Like usually when I see the hashtag, I'll click on recent and kind of scroll through because there are some people who've been doing this since 2017 with us that they're still using the So Your View. They're not using the new one. But I've also have a system where I've asked people to DM the So Your View page with their makes. So then that helps to keep track. So I get a lot of submissions that way. But one of the things that has been a great tool and has been so helpful is the repost app, because I'm able to just go in if the page is not private, just repost it and then write our message at the top and then just add what they did. And then I'll copy our hashtags to reinsure that it's still being viewed by other people.
Fabulous. Well, I can't wait to see everybody's August make. And I just have to put the peplum skirt on my top and figure out what I'm going to wear with it.
Okay, you're way ahead of me. I'm about to cut it today with the fabric because I've finally selected the fabrics I was going to use.
So I will tell you that the one thing that I found is that this pattern does take a lot of fabric, and I did sort of cheat and moved my pieces slightly off grain. So I'm not sure if that's going to really affect the end result, but I did. I can't wait to see your make for August. And I guess just one last quick thing as a just to help me out really is that, do you have any tips for photographing your makes?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm still learning. I would say I take a lot of pictures on my phone now. And one of the things like this dress here is angling. I do a lot of things on, I'll have my makes on my mannequin and just staying down. So when I go, I'm like this to take the picture. So, and then cinching it, of course, to fit the mannequin, and of course, styling it. But when I'm taking my pictures, it's always about lighting. And here, where we live in the downtown, in the McKinney, North Dallas area, just going outside now and taking pictures and making sure that the sun is in front of you and not behind you. And then just having fun. We don't snap too many pictures, but movement, smile, and, don't just pose, walk. So I love shots where I'm walking, and I love doing now like shots against a wall, like a blank wall to focus on the outfit. But my 16-year-old daughter takes my pictures. I don't have any other, we do some on the phone, and then I do have a Canon that it will take pictures on. But I think the biggest thing is having fun and being yourself. But because it's hot here in Texas, go early. Like right now, I have to take pictures of this dress, and I'm like, oh, it is too hot. It's 106 degrees today. So I will be melting under that sun. So I guess I'll probably have to wait till about a little past 7 as it gets a little cooler to go. But then I have to fight with the bugs.
Well, that's absolutely. So if people want ideas to look at some of the previous makes of photos that you like and try to emulate those. And then you're right. Taking photos early morning, late evening, the light is much better. Being outside are all fabulous suggestions.
And then I think,
go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And then accessorize. So if you're an accessory person and you feel like you want to tell the story, what is the story you're telling with your make? Some people say, oh, Monica, that's too much fuzz. I'm like, well, if I'm going to take a picture and I want to highlight this, I want you to envision how you would possibly wear it. So I'm going to put on some earrings. I may wear a hat, a nice purse, the shoes, whatever's going on the bottom with that, so that I'm giving you an entire look. If it's just the blouse, there's no reason why I can't just post it on the mannequin, because not a lot of people want us to show their face and all of that stuff. But you want to do it where you either have a blank wall or it's not too many other distractions and it's just that particular thing that you're focusing on. But angle, definitely angle. Yes.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. And like I said, I can't wait to see this month's So Your View as well as it continuing in the future.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Marquita. And thank you, the Plano ASG.